Hi, friend.
Hi, friend. Are you ready?
Ready for what?
To level up.
Okay, girl, let's get started.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Level Up with Raman and Alysha.
Hi, friends. On today's episode, we will be talking about racism.
Racism?
Okay, that's not... You know what? Everything just went through my head that I was thinking about when we told Amit the idea.
And then you just thought of racism?
And he said discrimination. And
okay,
he said,
Amit said a whole bunch of shit.
And he started saying a bunch of things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Regroup.
Yeah.
What we will actually be talking about... Actually, we will be talking about racism, technically speaking. We'll be talking about race in the workplace.
So not like intentional race in the workplace.
Yeah.
But kind of just like... I don't, like, here in Canada, we have found, especially in, like, Ontario, Toronto, you know, Raman and I have worked for such various companies, from big to little, and we both have noticed that even, like, little companies that are, and when I say little, I'm still talking about in the billions, but are, like, smaller in employee number-wise, right? Mm-hmm. And they, like, start from a person who created it, like, 54 years ago. And then they sell their company and, you know, it becomes bigger.
Or when their kids inherit and then their kids inherit kind of thing.
Either way, yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone on the leadership team is always one color.
White.
Yeah. Basically, white.
To be blunt.
And mainly men.
Yeah.
And, you know... Okay, so speaking about this mm-hmm. brings up, and I forgot to tell you this, and maybe I did tell you. The company I currently work for is a Canadian company. So mm-hmm. It's like, you know, Canadian company that is from here. And the leadership team, same thing, family-owned business, sold it after many times, and now it's this big company. Mm-hmm. The leadership team is mainly white and males.
Yeah.
And there's one female. And the audacity that this one individual from the leadership team had when they were talking to me. So I recruit, and, you know, I was recruiting someone, and he made a comment. And his comment he said was, well, you know, you're going to really like her because A, she's a female, and B, she's a minority as well, like you.
Oh my God, no way.
And we really need more people like that on our team, you know. When you start in a small organization, sometimes it's always the same color, but, like, you know, we're growing now.
And now you do have to show diversity. So
100%.
Now when companies report, like, there's a lot of stats and surveys and stuff like that. So now there are procedures in place to make sure employers are diverse and they are providing equal opportunity. So now we have laws that make sure that everybody gets equal opportunity. So we have women so there's 4 categories. So we have women, aboriginals, disabilities, and visible minorities.
Yes.
So we have 4. Alysha and I fall under visible minority. So a company has to make sure that a certain percentage of their workforce is visible minority. So basically, and you know what, even like with disability, like they have to make sure that they are offering the same job to people with disabilities as well. So, and offering accommodation. So for example, if you're able to do the job, but you are in a wheelchair, but your company doesn't have a ramp, then it is your company's obligation to build a ramp. However, although companies are trying to diversify and include all these 4 sections, we know that's not the case.
No.
We're still seeing a lot of upper management is prominently white and male. And sometimes, unfortunately, trickles down, and that's how majority of the company ends up being, kind of thing. So Alysha and I, as we mentioned, we've worked at a few corporations.
Can I say something before I forget?
Yes.
Okay, so this reminds me of this episode from Superstore.
Oh,
you know the girl Amy?
Yeah.
She's Latin American.
Yeah.
And she goes for an interview for a higher up position.
Oh yeah, and they want to hire her because she's women and she's Latin.
Yes, and then she walks into the room that has, and by the way, I've only ever seen this happen in the States, where you walk into a room and you see all the other people that are also interviewing for the same job. Like, that doesn't happen here in Canada.
Yeah.
But whatever. So she looks around and she's like, oh, I've been with the company for 20 years. Like, I'm totally going to get her, 15 years or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, no. girlfriend, look around. You're here for a reason.
Yeah.
And it's because they're missing someone Spanish on the team.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. And companies will do that. They say if it's like between two people and they need to show diversity in their workforce stats, then they might hire the colored person just to show that, okay, we have diversity. And these stats go back to the government. And, you know, there could be, like, people can, not lawsuit, but file a complaint that, you know, they're not getting hired because they're a certain color.
There's associations for, like, you know, there's... I don't know what it's called. I don't know the proper terms, but I know there's one for...
There's a women's association.
There's a women's association, but there's another one for, like, colored people as well. Mm-hmm. Each one for each, like, society.
Yeah, 100%. And it's unfortunate. So, as mentioned, that I was about to say, before you remembered Superstore, all good, is that Alysha and I have worked in several corporations, and I think we can confidently say that there were some organizations that were more diverse than others, and some that were not. And I don't know about you, Alysha, and am I allowed to say the company's name?
Talking about?
No, the second one that I was at, that was like...
No, you're not allowed.
Okay, so I was at a company, guys. I don't know if I'm legally allowed to say their name.
You signed their contract, you can't.
They are a very well-known company, like a billion-dollar multinational, beverages, multinational, worldwide company. So Alysha and I, the company that we worked at, was pretty diverse. There were like so many brown people. And we were like Asians, brown people, like there were just, it was so
African American.
Yeah, even like white people, but it was like pretty diverse, right?
Very diverse, even throughout the leadership team.
Yeah.
There was a lot of women on that team, and I was very happy to see that. A lot of managers were women.
A lot of managers were women and colored.
Yep. Loved it.
So me and Alysha were like, oh wow, you know, this is great.
But like, you got to remember, head office was European.
That's true. So the upper management, though, even still at this company, was white, like all white. And then I went to a company where I'm like, okay, such a big name, you know, like a company that you're like, yeah, I'm gonna be proud to work here, you know, like proud to be like, I work here. So I go there. And I'm like the only brown person. So I'm the only brown person in my department, but then I walk throughout the office and I see that it's like 90% white, right? Like not even any other races, just like white. So that's the first thing I noticed. So I'm like, okay, the only brown person here, awkward. And then it was just so funny because as like time went on a bit, I think I'm like 90% sure, because I heard somebody tell me something about it, they started hiring more colored people. Because I think they got a complaint that all their people are white. Because every brown person there is like, why is everyone white? Mm-hmm. Like, why am I'm uncomfortable sitting at a boardroom table with like 20 white people and I'm the only brown person. Do I feel proud to be the only brown person that got the job? No. I'm wondering, why the fuck am I the only brown person here? Or sorry,
did
not
I
even
get
brown.
the job because I'm brown?
Yeah, did I get the job because I'm brown?
Yeah.
But not even brown, like colored, period. They were literally all white. My entire team was white. My boss was white. My boss's boss was white. My boss's boss's boss was white. And it was like, and you know what? Like, I'm not saying that being different colors makes you unrelatable, but there were things where I felt like, are you judging me because 100%. I'm colored? Like, are you judging my choices, or like I live a different life because I'm colored? Like, I remember one girl, she was like, asked me something about my boyfriend and being over, and this is when Tim wasn't allowed to come to my house because my parents didn't know about him, and she's like, what do you mean that your parents don't know? Like, it was just such a white fucking answer. I'm like, do you not have brown friends? Like, do you not know brown people's problems?
You can't be that ignorant.
Like, do you not know brown girl problems? Everybody knows brown brown girl
Have you
problem.
watched Never Have I Ever?
You can't bring a guy to your house unless you're ready to marry him.
There's no excuse now. Mindy Kaling, Never Have I Ever,
Like
the Mindy
ignorance.
Project. There's too much things on Netflix for you to be that ignorant on today's day and age.
There was one girl who sat beside me. She actually dated a Punjabi guy for like 7 years. So she was probably the most like culturally aware. She knew, she was like, oh yeah, he was from Amritsar. Like, so she was very like culturally aware. But other than that, everybody else was like, what? What are you talking about? And I'm like, what the fuck? Where the fuck am I? So I started to notice that they started recruiting more brown people. Mm-hmm. And then I heard somebody in another department say that they're noticing that they're recruiting more brown people. And then people started noticing it more and more. And I was just like, and at that point, I believe that they were recruiting colored people because people were starting to notice there were too many white people. 100%.
You know what? And that's so sad because as an organization, you know, a lot of organizations are supposed to do things for the organization. Mm-hmm. So as our first company, you and I worked together where we met. Yeah. We had diversity. We had culture day, potluck day. I wonder about these organizations.
We had a world, what did we do? So Alysha and I at this company had a potluck, which was a cultural potluck, and we hung every country's flags all over the room to include like diversity, and everybody was supposed to bring food from their own culture and country, and it was amazing.
It was so much fun.
Like if I did that at this company, what would they do? I'll bring
burgers.
Same fucking white people food, and I'd be like, let me bring Indian food.
Let me bring samosa. Yeah, no, 100%. And you know, it's sad because as an organization, don't you want a different mindset? So like, this is how I look at it. Okay, I used to look at it in a very different way. People who came from internationally, I always thought were fobs. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like from India or from like, you know, I don't know. It was just, I was very naive if you were from China or India. But now, so being in my career and being in my 30s, I've learned so much because I have a lot of people in my family that I know that have come from India. I know a lot of individuals that have come from India in the last few years or whatever. And you wouldn't have been able to tell completely they're from India. But it's the mindset they bring. They bring a different set of knowledge. They bring innovation. They bring other culture and diversity to your workplace. Mm-hmm. So we think a certain way here in Canada. We were all raised the same way in the sense that we all went to the same public school, or we all went to the same private school, or you went all to the same Catholic school. Mm-hmm. There's not much of a difference. But to have someone come from a different country of living a different way, not taking things for granted and working twice as hard to come here and then develop something and teach you a different way is such an amazing experience to be a part of. And it's like, why don't organizations want more innovation? Yeah. Why don't you want to be the top company that has these children? So one school I have to talk about is Sheridan. Sheridan in Brampton, I do have to give them props. I know a guy I went to school with, and he was able to be in their engineering program and get the first 3D printer there. This is many years ago. He was in the newspaper, and he decided to use that to help with handicaps. Mm-hmm. So like it was with wheelchairs or something. He was on the newspaper and he like changed life for them. Mm-hmm. It was like really amazing. And it was like, you know, Sheridan really does look into students internationally that will come and be in their engineering program and put things together. Mm-hmm. And I was just like so impressed with a college that like is willing to go that extra mile to give someone a chance. Yeah. My other thing is this about this whole situation. Okay, so people might think I'm privileged because my mother gave me Alysha as my name and my last name Bala. Mm-hmm. Bala is not really typically Indian. It also can be pulled off as Ukrainian and European because a lot of European people have the last name Bala too.
You and Jasmine have the same last name. Remember?
Yes, that's right. So, basically, when I apply for an interview, people don't know
that you're brown.
Yeah. They don't. And can I tell you, deep down, for the last few interviews in my life, like in the last few years, I kind of take it as something like I have a hand over someone else, because then when I do like walk in, they're shocked. sometimes.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I kind of love it because I want to see their reaction.
Yeah.
And it's like, my mom gave me 2 names.
Yeah.
I just choose to use the easier name in life because A, it's easier to pronounce, and B, I don't want someone to disrespect my culture if they don't understand it.
Yeah.
And so I stick with my first name. Plus, it is my first name.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, honestly, like, I get like a thrill out of that.
I bet I'd be like, yeah, bitches.
It's my little.
What?
I'm brown.
You know, like that TikTok. It's like ding dong.
Yo, I should do a TikTok. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be like walking
Be like,
to an
when
interview.
people think you're white over the phone,
Yeah.
but then you walk in and it's like ding dong.
Ding dong, really, I'm brown, bitches.
With me though, it's, you know, obviously my name is Raman. People say Raman, Raman, Raymond, Roman. Oh my god. Roman. It's
Yo,
like, they
does
just,
it make you feel better after they see my face? They still like pronounce my name wrong. Alicia,
what the fuck?
like Alicia, Ashley. I never get Alicia still.
Okay, that's retarded. Because your name, like, is so easy to read. Like,
I know.
And, like, I get my name because it's, like, the way it's spelt. It's, like, people think Raman, but it's, like, Ramin, right? So I have to, like, tell people, like, it's, like, mun. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's not man. But, you know, I get, like, fuck, people butcher my name so much. And you know what? Like, it's just so annoying. Because, like, when I was growing up, I never used to correct people mispronouncing my name.
Really?
I just like didn't care, or I thought like, oh yeah, they just can't pronounce my name.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, fuck, if they can pronounce all these hard words, like, you could pronounce my name.
Absolutely.
So
that's
now-
your identity.
But I'm gonna tell you a really fail thing that I've done in my life.
Wow.
So I, you know, as I grew older, now I correct my name. I make sure I'm like, you are definitely fucking able to say my name. If you could fucking say like wasabi, you could say my name. So, or like, you know, some like, I don't know, other like cultural word, you can say my name.
100%.
So my job right now that I have right now, guys, so I'm like,
you work with America.
I'm now permanent with this company, but when I started off, I started off 3 months. I'm working from home. I was like, oh, I don't give a fuck, right? And they mispronounced my name, right? They were like Ramen, right? But I didn't correct them because I was like, oh, whatever. I'm barely talking to these people. I'm gonna be here for 3 months. I'm out. So now I'm like a year and a half in, but now it's too late. I can't tell them now because now they're gonna be like, but why didn't you tell us this? So now I'm like, shit. Like, and then every time I hear,
shit,
oh my
bro.
god, honestly, it's a really big fail because now I'm like, every time I hear them mispronounce my name, I like have a little like, ugh, like moment. But I'm like, but fuck, it's like too late for me
Just
to correct
fucking
them.
tell them. You should just say it next time.
Maybe I was like, you know, if I say it like, oh, it's ramen, like they'll hear me say it kind of thing. But it just like
They
doesn't
still won't get it.
It just doesn't really actually happen. And as Alysha mentioned, I work for like U.S. employees, so I get the ramen.
They're not
the
used to the ramens and the ramens.
And guys, I do want to mention that I know we're like talking about these companies that are prominently white, but we do want to highlight that not all companies are like that. Like we mentioned, that Alysha and I did work at a previous company that was very multicultural. The company that I'm in right now is super multicultural as well.
Absolutely.
It is a complete mix of everything. My like head of department is like, he's from Mexico, in the U.S. because like I have U.S. Heads too. So you know, and my Canadian boss is, as I mentioned, Indian.
Yeah.
And you know, we have a very diverse. We have Asian. You know, we have South African. We have so much. So
That's
right
amazing.
now, I feel comfortable. Like I mean, it sucks that I didn't correct my name, but like
You will.
it
And you should.
I really should.
100%
But I'm
you
like,
should.
it's a year and a half in now. But as mentioned, like, this is not every company that we're talking about, but we hear stories from our friends, from family, from other people that they're like, oh yeah, I'm like the only brown person, or I'm the only colored person, and my company is like prominently white. Or a friend was like, oh yeah, you know, this company, this guy gave it to his son, gave it to his son, gave it to his son. Now the whole management is like one colored, and they don't like want to have any other colored people kind of like on their management team. So I'm like, okay, the shit is real.
So I want to point out that a lot of you might even say, what's wrong with companies having all white? And that argument may come up. It's not what's wrong. It's the fact that we live in North America, which is a multicultural like continent, okay? There's no this is my land, this is your land. That doesn't exist here.
Yeah. This is actually the native people's land.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. So when a white person turns around and says, go back home.
Yeah.
Well, you need to go back home too, bitch.
Yep.
So that is I hate that line. It's one of the worst lines.
It is.
Ever to be said to anyone. It's so disgraceful. But within an organization, you have every right to be at that same seat as anyone else that's in that seat. Yeah. Just because your parents are, first comers to India, from India to Canada, or from China or Philippines or wherever, does not mean that they didn't work their asses off to give you everything that you have today, to not sit in that seat. Just because this person's great-great-grandmother was raised and born here does not have anything over you.
100%.
And it's not okay.
It's not. And think of it as a way to educate yourself, because as mentioned, when you now are surrounded by like the same colored people and you literally have no knowledge of other people's culture, I'm sorry, but I find you stupid.
You're not cultured, you fucking retard.
Because I think like, okay, I get that like you're not colored, but like you live in a country where there's lots of colored people, so how do you not, like, you don't have to know many things about other people's culture, but like basic things, right?
Yeah.
Like, so when I think like about that company and I'm like some of the things that they didn't know about, I was just like, did you just like grow up with only white people? Like, did you not have friends that were so like, even in a company, because like we spend more time at work than we do at home, so what you surround yourself around work will have a very high impact on your life, your thinking, the decisions you make. So would you not want yourself be in a company that diversifies and celebrates every culture and diversifies and celebrates like everyone's different opinions and thoughts?
If high school can do it, then why can't companies?
You're so right.
Right?
You're so right.
And, my other thing is this. Why put yourself in a situation? Okay, no. Let me rephrase this. There's just no excuse for companies in today's day and age to not hire enough portfolios that are colored. And I don't care what people say when they're like, oh no, this resume was better. That's not always true. So this is the part that pisses me off. So I had a talk with a CoOp student last week. And by his last name, he could be Japanese, but his first name, I'm pretty sure he's white. And the thing is, he was like, you might wonder why I have no experience in the engineering world is because I had to put myself through school. He's like, but this was one thing I will give him like brownie points on admitting. He was like, but Alysha, I had to work for what are those things called? Beach club? He's like, I had to work for what's those clubs called that people join? They're like prestigious.
I don't know.
For elite professionals and stuff. Country club.
Oh, okay. I was like,
he's
I
like,
don't know.
I had to join a country club. And he's like, and be a lifeguard. And he's like, because the money was good. And so he's like, and I know that's not the greatest reasoning and it's not the greatest thing to be proud of, but it's what got me through school.
Aww.
And I felt for him. And I gave him more brownie points for the fact that he was honest.
Yeah.
And he knows how that makes him sound to work for a country club.
Yeah.
Because when you think of country club, what do you think?
Rich white folks.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so I was very impressed with that. When did we start accepting that it's okay to be like disrespected within organizations indirectly?
Yeah.
When did we start saying it's okay to like not celebrate my culture?
Yeah.
I hate when people don't know what Diwali is.
Yeah, like come on, you grew up here.
Who doesn't know what's Diwali?
It's literally worldwide.
And yet, people still don't know what Diwali is?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. You may not know everything else. But you should know
Are you telling
Holi.
me you don't know what a samosa is?
And you should know what Diwali is. Holi and Diwali.
Yeah.
Holi is pretty well known.
Holi, you know what? Even Holi, I'll give it to people if they don't know what Holi is.
No, in today's day and age,
yeah,
there's so many people. It's celebrated in schools.
That's true. That's true.
Like, come on.
Yeah, that's true.
Everything else, fine. But Diwali and Holi are two major things.
Yeah.
It's their Easter, and it's the exact same thing we basically do. We play with colors.
People will think my last name Dhaliwal is Diwali.
It's not okay. Like, this is not okay.
Ramen the wali? No, dali wal.
Bro, this is not okay. This is not okay. Like, if you're out there and you're in an organization that doesn't respect your culture or you as a colored individual, stand up for yourself, and maybe it's time to have those conversations with HR.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's time to find an organization that does support you.
Yeah.
Because why not be part of an organization that is working towards a greater cause for your future? Let's not forget, guys, we're going to have kids. And guess what? They're going to be the same fucking color we are. So what world are we creating? Honestly, lately, our podcasts we've been talking about and conversations we've been having, I feel like we're going back in fucking time.
Yes.
We are not progressing forward.
Yeah.
Not for the environment, not for our cultures, not as women. Like, I don't know what's happening anymore.
I don't know, man. The world is kind of going a little backwards. Like, there is just so much going on, and you know,
it's really
women,
frustrating.
I feel like our whole life, if we look back like decades before until now, women have been fighting for our rights. Women have been fighting to be heard, be seen, be given equal opportunity, which, you know, is a whole nother conversation that
Colored
women
people
still are not getting equal opportunity.
No,
There's still the glass ceiling.
We have colored people still fighting for their rights.
Mm-hmm.
Look at what just happened. Black Lives Matter. Pakistan Lives Matter. Indian Lives Matter.
Did you
Punjabi
hear about
Lives
that guy
Matter.
that got murdered in Nova Scotia? That
Why?
was so sad.
No.
I think it was a hate crime. So this, oh my God, it was so sad. Nancy posted about it too. She was so upset. She was like, I could not sleep last night because I kept thinking about it. So his name is Prabjot. I don't remember his last name. But if you search it on Google, Prabjot, Nova Scotia, it will come up. So he came home at 2 a.m. he was 23 years old. Came home from a taxi job, like, because he has to work to pay for himself. And he was attacked and someone sliced his throat. And they were like, it couldn't have been a robbery because nothing was stolen.
Aww.
You're a 23-year-old. And, you know, Nova Scotia is like, obviously there's not a lot of colored people there. It is prominently white, so there is a lot more racism there. And when we talk about these companies, you know, when there are companies in areas where it is prominently white, you know, you can expect most of the workforce to be white and not be colored. But, you know, a place like where we are, Toronto, Ontario, we can't expect that kind of thing from here. So his, it was so upsetting. It was actually...
Was he Punjabi?
Yeah. He was a student.
I need to know. Did he look brown?
Yeah, he had a turban.
There you go. That's
he
what
had a turban. He was 23 years old. It just breaks my heart to even talk about it.
Okay, we have Jagmeet Singh running for our elections.
Yeah.
You are still against people with turbans? Do not know what a turban is?
But he gets so much racism. Until this day, he has been in the government for more than 10 years. And he still gets... And you know what? He has shared stories about his... And I have actually watched videos of him someone being racist to him, like right on video and stuff like that. And his response is just like, no, like, I believe in love. Like, I'm not gonna like hit back with hate.
Yeah.
So, sorry, back to this 23-year-old, and then his, like, employer, like, spoke about him, and they were like, he had, like, 3 jobs, because he was supporting himself, and his dad passed away, so he was sending money back home, and now his body has to go back home to India in a casket.
That breaks my fucking heart.
I know, I can't even really talk about it, because it's just, like, it's so heartbreaking, because I just don't understand what world we live in, where you're... Like, come on, guys. Canada is a multi-fucking cultural country.
We're known to be a melting pot.
Yeah, like, you know, I know there's a lot more racism in the U.S., but, like, and racism still will continue to exist everywhere, and discrimination.
You know the part that kills me the most?
What?
Is that it's these racist fucking people out there are the same people who will still eat Indian food. No, but real talk.
Stop eating our Indian food.
I went to... Okay, like, legit. Like, I just don't... Okay, did I tell you about the time that... Okay, now, you said... the GTA, right?
Oh my God, sorry, but while you say Indian food, I'm gonna talk about this thing that, like, a celebrity actually said this, and I cannot remember on the top of my head of what, and she was like, I hate it when people are like, I don't like Indian food. Do you know that India has like 50 different cultures? When you say Indian food, what are you referring to? Because India has like 50 cultures that have 50 different types of food. You cannot say that you don't eat Indian food as a whole. Like, that's
except me, I can say that.
But there's... Okay, you don't like spice. But it's true. There's South Indian food. There's North Indian food. There's Punjabi food. There's Hindu food. There's
Let's
Gujarati
not forget
food.
to mention the fact that like Mexican food comes from our cumin spice, our chili spice. Okay, they all got it back in the day when they all used to ship their ships from India. Greece got it from there. Every culture that has spice or curry, Jamaica, anywhere, Trinidad, wherever, all your spices came from India.
Yeah.
So when you sit here and say like you hate on Indian people and you hate on like India and stuff like that, hello.
Stop eating our butter chicken.
There's half the stuff in HomeSense in today's day and age are made in India.
Yeah, 100%.
I've seen shawls, I've seen furniture made in India. Like I don't understand anymore. I don't understand what the fucking stigma is and what everyone's problem is. So if you're in an organization that isn't making a change for the better, stand up or leave and support an organization that is. I know we're saying stand up in your organization. It's not easy for anybody.
Going to say that. I was going to say, how do you stand up? How do you say, okay, well, this job is as an employee, right? Like
you go to your HR department.
But I worked in HR and who am I going to report to? My boss, who I think was a racist, right?
I can't even. I'm the only brown person in my department.
Yeah, you're the only brown person in your department right now. So it's like, as an employee, when you are going through this, like, how do you say, I'm going to stand up? But guys, anything can be said anonymously.
That is true.
Yeah, like you do not have to use your name. You don't have to use...
Just don't use a work computer or work internet.
Yeah.
Do it from your home. Do it from somewhere you can't be tracked. Like, be smart about it.
Yeah, you can absolutely, like, you know, confidentiality, like, you know, leave a note or something like that, you know, you are concerned about the company's diversity and where it's headed and you don't feel like it's diverse enough. Okay, if you're the only brown person, though, or colored person, yeah, they might know it's you.
Yeah. Then you got a problem.
But, I mean, I know it's hard to speak up and it's hard to voice up. And I myself, when I was in that situation, thought about so many times I was like, who the hell do I tell that there's no colored people here? Like, I'm the only colored person in my department, and who I can't report to HR. I am HR.
I know.
I was like, I'm literally the HR person.
What do you do?
And then my boss is white, and then my boss's boss is white. So I'm like, are they really gonna understand like what I'm going through? But you know what? I kind of low key wish that when I left, I did let somebody know that I think you guys have a diversity problem. And then I would be like, bye.
Peace out.
Peace out.
The problem is, as
because you can report it. Sorry, guys. If you feel like your company actually has a real problem and you think going to your company is not going to help and it's
Employee
like serious, guys, Employee Standards Act. And like, well,
they'll come in. Ministry of Ontario will come in.
You can literally report to the Ministry of Government that you believe that there is no diversity in your workplace and there is racism or discrimination.
Yeah, Ministry of Ontario as well will come in and relook just to make sure everything's okay.
Yeah, so there are options.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
And if you guys want to, like, if any of you guys have any issues and if you feel like you're an employer and you're stuck...
Or you need advice.
You can definitely reach out to us. Alysha and I can definitely provide, like, you know, support and kind of...
support and advice.
Advice and, like, you know, places where that can help you
or
report.
refer you to people that can help.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, hope you guys liked our rant.
Power to the colored people.
Power to the colored people. If you're white, we're not trying to hate on you. We're just we're talking about the employers.
We share this land with you. We pay our taxes. We work hard. We also share this land, and it's only fair for us to have a seat
born here. Like, why are you going to tell me this is your land when we were born on the same land?
We share a seat. We deserve a seat on your fucking boardroom.
Yeah.
Your boardroom.
100%. So thank you everyone for listening, and if we offended you, sorry.
Sean.
We love you. We just don't like the white employers that are, you know, just not really including everybody else and continuing to have like this. Is it primacy?
White primacy, yeah.
White primacy. But yeah, if you're not already following us on social media, you can follow us at Level Up with Raman and Alysha. And like we said, if you have any questions or comments, you can email us at ramanandalysha@gmail.com.
Thanks so much for listening, friends.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.